Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo. Today I am finally working on myself again. I'm just going to start with a disclaimer, apologizing in advance. Working on myself is different than working on clients, and I have to hold my hand in a way where I can see what I'm doing, and sometimes I move out of frame. It's just something that I have to be more cautious of or aware of when filming my own sets, but for the most part I think I did a good job in the editing of like making sure that the footage is, you know, in frame, or if I clip something short, it just because, you know, watching it back I was like, yeah, my hand's not even near the camera. But it's really hard. But you know, same thing as always, I'm just getting started with prep, so my hands look wild, please don't mind them. I had just soaked off, so you know when you soak off you have like that white cast from the acetone and all the product on your hand, so that's what that is. It will get better by the end of the video, but you know, I basically soaked off those birthday nails that I had back in June. I had the Apres Sean Legend extra long square C-curve nails by Apres, and I used that beautiful Sasha color of the gel extension. It was really gorgeous with the crystal rhinestones. I had to cut those down because I'm just really active in my life, and I can function with the long nails, but like I'm tumbling and I'm doing some stunting and stuff, and just you can't have long nails for that. But I am free for a couple of weeks, so I decided to have some long nails. I still play tennis, but like it doesn't affect my tennis having the super duper long nails. But back to the video. I am just getting started with prep. You saw me spray myself down with alcohol like I normally do. I used my skiver bit to clean up my cuticle area. I personally grow cuticles like nobody's business. My cuticles grow so thick and fast, and they're just dry. It's just not pleasant. So I'm taking extra care to prep. And if you see, I'm using my sanding band to just file away any dead skin that's sitting not even on the nail plate, but around the nail as well. I have my sanding band at a very low speed, pretty much the first speed that comes on your e-file. I use the Coupa Me file. I do have a review that I have filmed already, but I just need to edit and get it up for you guys. But to talk about different types of e-files, this one that I'm using in particular, and just my opinion on them. But yeah, I'm just starting off with some prep. So I'm going to be using some new tips. I was so freaking excited when I saw these, because I am not a fan of a C-curve. Like, I just cannot get on board. I think it looks pretty and everything, but in terms of like functionality, for me, I prefer a very flat nail, which is why I love the Two Guys One Step Coffin tips, or those super plastic extendo tips, because they are C-curve less. So when I saw this option on Zule's Instagram and on her website, I jumped and bought them immediately. I will say they are an extra long, or 2x long, and it says no C-curve. I will say after wearing these for about a week, they're definitely C-curve nails. They're not, I would say they're like low profile C-curve, but there's definitely a curve in these tips. And it's just, I mean, it's great. It's not that bad. I can function, but my nails naturally are just very flat. I don't enjoy that C-curve on a nail. But if you're interested in a long nail without a C-curve, this one definitely has a bit of a curve to it. Also, it comes in the bags, and like as you can see, I'm just, you know, like scrambling to find my size, but nothing crazy. Same tip application. The nails are really great. They're a little bit thicker than your normal tip, so it's not as heavy as those like crazy extendo nails, but it's like an in-between, so it's a little bit thicker, and it does have a well, like a half well, but I don't really, you know, focus on the half well. It's best to just put the tip on the tip of your fingernail. You don't want to have a lot of glue on the nail plate, because the whole point is to add the acrylic or the extension or the hard gel, whatever, to that's your extension. You don't want to have an extension and 90% of the nail is covered in glue. So I'm just taking some time to apply these as straight as I can, just filing my natural nails because they had grown out a bit with those apres extensions. So just filing them so that I have at least a straight edge to apply these tips to. I'm not using a ton of glue. You don't want to add a lot of glue like I mentioned, but you want to make sure that these tips are straight. So one trick that I have, I think I'm going to show you on this finger especially because my pointer finger definitely does a dance, right? So I'm showing you that if I apply it with the tip of my fingernail, that nail will for sure be pointing towards that middle finger. So to combat that, I actually followed the knuckle. I imagine a line going from like the knuckle on my finger all the way down and place the tip in that line versus following just the fingertip. I say it all the time, there's nothing worse or few things worse in doing nails than finishing a really gorgeous set and your nail is looking at you sideways. So that's just a tip that I use. I know I have really funky fingers, so that's how I combat that. Just gonna take a few seconds to clip these nails down. So like I mentioned, these are an XXL length nail. I love it, but for me, I like, you know what, I would say those are about a 3X. I prefer about a long to extra long is where I can kind of function. So I'm using my straight edge clipper. I prefer to use this clipper in terms of cutting down tips, but as you can see, it's a C curve, and if it wasn't, this is how I know for sure, it kind of fractures that tip. If you can see that like white cast on the tip, you see right there at the tip of the free edge of the thumb, even on this nail, if it kind of cracks or does that, then it has a little bit of a curve, because if it's a flat tip, when you go in with a straight edge nail clipper, it won't do that. But no biggie, the nails came out great. They're really, really beautiful. I just prefer, like, oh, I really don't like C curve. But one good thing that's great, maybe I'll take this set off sooner than I planned. I'm thinking out loud. But I did buy another set of tips from Zule as well. I think they're 4XL and they're stiletto, but those for sure are not C-curve. They're kind of like an imitation or like just a different version of those extendo plastic nails. So maybe I'll try that next. Maybe I'll do that today. Who knows? But yes, just making sure that they are all sized up appropriately. I find usually for me, the hardest finger to size is the thumb, just because it's not like a finger that you can like put next to the other ones. I always feel like either my thumb is really short or too long compared to the other nails. I should just get like a ruler or something. I'm going in quickly to pre-file. If you know me, I don't normally pre-file my tips. I just don't think it's necessary. But because I clipped these down and they weren't completely straight, like some of them were a little bit like diagonal on the cut, I'm just using my file really quickly to clean the sidewalls, because some of the tips extended slightly past my natural sidewall, and to clean the free edge to make sure that it's nice and straight. But I'm not gonna be doing too much filing. I find I enjoy doing my filing last versus doing it in the beginning. So that's what I'm doing here. Just going in with my sanding band on my mandrel bit at the same slow speed, and I'm just using this opportunity to blend these tips. I want there to be a smooth transition from my natural nail to the extension tip that I had just added. still working on this prep. I am going in with Young Nails Swipe, and we are just dehydrating the nail, cleaning any debris, getting rid of any dust that might be there from the blending or anything like that. Just making sure to really, really wipe down the nail. You see me, I'm doing a little bit of a squeegee technique. Then I'm gonna go in with Young Nails Protein Bond. So I haven't used this in a while, but I saw it on the table and was like, let's give it a go. It's been working for me since I started my nail journey, and you know, I'm sure it'll keep working. So it was there, I used it to prime. I'm just adding a thin coat to my natural nail, not to the tip because it won't, you know, do anything for the tip, but I am doing that for my prep. I'm going in, I'm using my Young Nails acrylic. So, and I think I was using Young Nails monomer, actually. It was a whole Young Nails situation, but I'm using my Young Nails clear. And if you watch my channel, you know that I enjoy placing a clear bead of acrylic down the entire length of the nail before getting into my design. The reason for this is because one, after primer, your nails are a little bit sticky, and to avoid getting any dust or debris or anything stuck to that primer where I have to remove and re-prime, adding this acrylic layer of clear, especially for clients, not even just for myself, but for clients in general, helps to give a barrier to that nail so I don't have to worry about them like putting their hand in their bag or scratching their hair and getting like dust or hair or lint on those primed nails that I work so hard to, you know, prep. Another thing, another reason why I like to do the clear acrylic is because it gives me a nice smooth base. So I did go ahead and blend those tips, but if you are someone who doesn't feel like they have to blend your tips, then this is a great option for you. Applying a bead of clear acrylic helps to give you a smooth, flat base or foundation to the nail that, you know, you can build on top after. A third reason, it's like an essay, right? The third reason I like to use clear acrylic is because when clients come back for a redesign, at least for me, my type of clients, most of them, 99% of my clients prefer me to file off the design. I don't feel comfortable filing knowing that there's not a clear acrylic layer underneath that design. What it does is it gives me a visible barrier or visible notifier, I don't know what the word is, signifier, to know when to stop filing. I can see once I see that natural nail shining under that clear acrylic, I know I can stop. It helps to prevent me from damaging their natural nail, filing too deep, giving them like heat spikes, hurting the client, anything like that. And I like to carry the acrylic down the whole tip of the nail because it helps in protecting the tip as well. So like in this set, I'm going to be doing some glass tips and some completely covered tips. The next set I might do on these tips might be completely different. I might want all of them to be glass tips. And if I didn't do that, whatever color I applied today will still be on that nail. When I'm removing, I might damage the tip and have to reapply. So it just, there's so many freaking reasons to do this. I love it. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's definitely something that I like to do beforehand. And look at me having a good time getting that clear acrylic layer down. So I'm just going ahead and showing you that I'm planning on using these holographic ether kind of like sheets, cellophane sheets. It's the first time I'm using it. I've had it for a really, really long time. Actually, Amazon accidentally sent me 2 of these. And as you can see, there's a crap ton in one package. I was so surprised, and they're so thin. I wanted for this set a really soft iridescent pink, and as you can see, I found a few, and I'm just like trying to see what other colors are in there. In hindsight, I did not enjoy the color that I ended up choosing because it reflects green, and in the nail I wanted it to reflect pink, but it shows green like in real life. So I was just a little bit like, ooh, but I totally love these, and I want to do a set of that like Aurora, like those nails where people put the foil in the nail and it kind of gives that nail that like crazy dimensional shine. That is something that I'm trying to find a client for. Like, who's the right client? I wonder if you guys do that. If you're a nail tech, do you like look at your clients and you're like, I can't wait to do this on this client, or I can't, you know, I think about that all the time, like, oh, I can't wait for this person to come back so I can do this design on them. But yes, I am thinking about doing that design. But in terms of these foil papers, I think I'll call it a foil paper, I didn't know how to adhere them. I was really like, wait, so how do I do this with acrylic? I didn't want them to be crinkled. I wanted it to be a smooth surface. So I actually just went in with some not polished transfer foil, and I know transfer foil is supposed to be when you remove the paper, but it's still sticky, and it worked. So I'm just using a silicone brush. I applied the transfer foil, I cured for 30 seconds, so it's super tacky. And I'm trying to apply this to the tip of the nail, mostly, you know, the free edge, but it is going down the length of the nail, and smooth it out as smoothly as I can. I did not want any creases. I got a few creases or crinkles in this plastic foil paper or whatever we're calling it. So I'm using it and I'm pressing really, really, really hard. I'm going to use my finger after using that squeegee, not a squeegee, like the silicone brush or applicator. So at least down the center, I pull it really taut down the center, and then I'm just using this silicone applicator to kind of squeegee the transfer foil across that nail. I wanted it to be super, super smooth. One thing that I did to remove it is just use my hand file and just kind of file away at the edges, and it just kind of chipped away at it. And then I used my scissors to cut off any excess. I will say on this middle finger, at the end of the video, I basically put it too far down my nail, so you can kind of see it through the acrylic that I'm going to place over it. I'm going to be ombreing acrylic over it anyway, but I think in the future, just being a little bit more cautious as to how far down I'm placing it on the nail. It's basically almost at my cuticle, and it doesn't need to be. Yes, using my scissors to just snip off any excess, and this is what that's looking like. Do you see how it's reflecting green? I didn't want green. I wanted it to be a soft pink, so I should have just chose a different color. But to the actual design, here we go. I am going in with Seashells by Sugar and Cream. I actually didn't remember that I had this acrylic, and I wasn't going to use it, but I'm so glad that I did, because it gave me just a tiny, tiny bit of shimmer that I was looking for. It's like a nail plate nude, kind of pastel-y beige kind of color with a hint of pink in it, but it has really, really chunky mylar pieces, and the mylar pieces are just going to reflect all of those beautiful colors for you, as you can see there, without any real effort. I don't have to do anything crazy to it. Beautiful acrylic by Sugar and Cream. I actually used it on a client a few months ago. I'm gonna link that video in the card so you can check that out. So I am starting at the middle of my nail, and as you saw, I ombreed it to nothing because I want that tip of this pinky nail to be completely clear. Then I'm going in with this beautiful soft ballerina kind of shimmery pink called Icon. I got this from GB Beauty Box, and I love their prop powders. I've been using them a lot recently. I found them on Instagram, and I've love their acrylics. So I'm using that at the back portion of the nail, and that's pretty much the design for the pinky and the thumb. I am going in with Seashells, ombreing that to nothing, so you just have glitter kind of fading to the clear tip, and then I'm taking that pink and ombreing over that. For the nails with the mylar sheet, I guess we can call it, on the tip, I am just going to be using that Icon ballerina pink color. It's called Icon, and I am just going to be ombreing it to nothing over this clear tip. So just focusing it on the back portion of the nail, making sure that it's pigmented enough, or the bead is big enough, so that it covers that demarcation line, I guess we can call it, of where I placed that foil. That's what I meant earlier when I said I placed it too far down the length of the nail. As you can see a little bit through that acrylic application, you can kind of see that line, and I didn't want to see the line. So I'm going to go in with multiple beads on both of these fingers to kind of hide that. It's a little bit worse on my middle finger, towards the I don't even know what side of the screen it's going to be on, but on one side of my finger you're going to be able to see that piece was just too low. There you go. I'm going in with additional beads just to cover it up. I don't want to have to see that line through the acrylic. So not bad, looking, you know, okay, and it's super pretty, but I just really don't like that it reflects green. I should have just chose better, but you know, you get the idea of what it was supposed to look like. Again, on this finger, placing that bead at the cuticle, I did, you know, spill a little bit. It's weird working on yourself versus working on clients. I also did my other hand. I will upload that video soon, and it was a mess, okay? Working on yourself is just so different. The mechanics of it all, how you hold your hand is just so different. It's just interesting to see what that process is like. But yep, same thing, just making sure to give good coverage. You see how you can see that line through that acrylic there? I really didn't like that. So if you're doing something similar to this, don't carry that foil down as far as I did. Learn from me, you know, don't do what I did. Cut it a little bit higher so that you don't see it through that acrylic, or use like a deeper colored acrylic that can definitely, you know, cover it. But as you can see it on the side, I didn't like it. On the pointer finger, I'm going to do a full nail of that soft Icon pink color, and on the thumb, I'm going to do exactly what I did on my pinky. So this wasn't planned, but on these two fingers, because I really wasn't enjoying the green reflection, I was like, how can we cover this up? So I got some sticker sheets of butterflies, and I am just going to be, picking some butterflies and placing 3 of them on these 2 nails. So kind of one around where that free edge is, one at the tip of the nail, and one towards the base of the nail. One thing that I would have done to make this sticking easier, because the acrylic has polymerized and it's not really sticking to the acrylic, because I would have just put some base coat down first, and then that would have given the stickers a sticky thing to stick to. It only came up because when I encapsulated, because the butterflies were not sticking completely down to the shape of the nail, when I went to encapsulate, some of the edges of the stickers were sticking up a little bit, so I didn't get them, and then I filed them off, and then I had to fix it later. Whatever. But all of this is happening because I put that green foil on the tip of my nail, and I really didn't want it to reflect green. These nails came out super pretty, but the green was just irking me, so I actually took them off a lot sooner than I planned to. But on both of these fingers, the middle finger, as you can see, I'm just taking my tweezers and just placing these butterflies randomly, 3 on each nail. Say it with me, now it is time to clear cap. So I am just going in and clear capping with my OG the Young Nails Core Clear. I love this acrylic, I love the monomer, I love this system. I think it gives me so much time to work. It is so clear, and you get this beautiful glass effect, and it's just great. I think it's really great for beginners. I am still technically a beginner. I've only been doing nails about a year now, and I just love this acrylic. It's like my baseline, like I can never go wrong with the Young Nails Core Clear. So I am going to be clear capping all of my nails, including that solid nail of pink. Normally I wouldn't clear cap a solid nail like that, but it was out, I just did it anyway. Just making sure to focus on keeping the product towards the center on top of that nail. That's where you want the product to be. And then making sure to clean my sidewalls perpetually and that free edge. As you can see, I'm maintaining that beautiful shape of the nail. I want a tapered square nail on all of these, and then building up the apex as necessary, just building for structure, being careful not to flood your cuticle and sidewalls, and just giving yourself a nice, beautiful clear cap application. Going in and clear capping these nails. So I mentioned earlier that I did have some issues with the stickers. As you saw, the stickers didn't really want to stick to these nails. I should have, or what I usually do when I'm encapsulating like a sticker, is put down like a base coat so that the sticker has something to stick to and it will really adhere to the curvature of the nail. In this case, I just slapped those on top of the already set acrylic, so they didn't really curve with the nail. So when I went in with my clear cap, some of the edges of the butterflies were kind of sticking up off the nail, so they ended up not fully being encapsulated. So then when I went in with my filing process, I shaved off some of the butterflies, but we will fix that. I will show you how I did that. But yeah, same thing, clear capping, making sure I'm cleaning my sidewalls, pushing that product towards the middle, and building for a beautiful shape. boom, once done with that, I'm going in with my e-file. I like to e-file before hand filing. I know that the order is a little bit different, but you know, everybody does nails their own way, and I just found that this helps me the most. I feel the most in control, and I get great results. It just works for me. So I'm going in with a medium carbide bit. This is a non-safety, and I have my e-file to a medium to high speed, and all I'm doing here is just cleaning the surface of the nail, making sure that it's nice and smooth. If there's any excess of product, like on the very tip of this nail, it's like a little excess of product when I was folding it over. So I'm gonna spend, as you see, a little bit time there debulking that to make sure that it's a smooth transition of the nail. And just look at how pretty those mylar pieces towards the middle of the nail, how it's a little bit of sparkle, but I didn't really have to do too much to get it. It's a beautiful acrylic by Sugar and Cream. It is called Seashells. I'm also using this e-file to clean up the cuticle and sidewall area, make sure that there's no acrylic touching the skin, and just to smooth out the surface of the nail. Nothing crazy. I will not be showing you the entire hand because, like I said at the beginning of the video, I didn't really do a good job in keeping in frame. So I'm just going to show you this one finger. It's the same for every single finger. You can see exactly what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. I like to place my pinky on my hand as a fulcrum. It just helps me to adjust how much pressure I'm placing on that e-file and thus the finger. You don't want to spend too much time in one area. You might like dig into the product and, you know, scratch up the surface of your nail. And I'm just taking my time to clean it up. I find if you do a great application and then you see it does have a C-curve. Look at it. Look at it. If you do a good acrylic application and then a good e-filing situation, then you usually at this point have like a decent enough nail where you can just kind of be like, yeah, that's it. But that's it for this e-filing. I'm gonna switch over to hand filing, and again, I'm only showing you one finger because I don't know what happened, but it definitely wasn't in frame. So I'm just using yeah, you can see the C-curve, right? It says no C-curve, but that's definitely a C-curve. It's not as high profile, like deep as like normal C-curve tips, but guys, come on, that's a C-curve tip. I hate a C-curve. Oh. But these nails came out cute, you know, regardless. I'm just focusing on making sure that I have a nice crisp shape. I want these nails to be sharp, okay? That's basically what I'm doing here. Okay, so to ground those butterflies and bring more white into the design, I am going to be doing a square French on these two nails around the butterflies. And in order to fix some of the butterflies, you're gonna be able to see that some of them have like their little tails cut off or the wing is cut off. I'm just gonna draw it back with the white gel paint. Honestly, that's basically what I did. So I'm doing a very deep square French, and this is another reason how I knew it was a C-curve is when you see I'm doing the side lines, when you look from the front, you can't even see it because the nail's curving to the side. So what I have to do is basically cheat that line a little bit inwards towards the very free edge of the nail so that you can see it from the front. So I'm doing my line. I'm using my favorite lining or art brushes that I talk about all the time on my channel. And I'm using a very long liner brush. When you're doing straight line work, you kind of want to use a longer brush because you have to do just less work. You lay the brush on the nail, you drag, and it kind of just does the work for you. As you can see, I am thickening up that line more towards the free edge of the nail. Because it is a C-curve nail, you don't really see that line. If I put it exactly on the side of the nail, you're not going to see it from the front, and I wanted to. So that's my way. Oh, you see the green cast? Oh, it just eats me up because I really didn't want it to be green. I'm going to do the same thing on this nail, starting off really lightly on the really sides of the nail, and then slowly tapering it outwards towards the center of the nail, just so you have like a little bit of a triangle so that you can see that white line from the front. And just taking my time. I did speed it up, so it was very slow in real life, but you don't want to be here forever. And once done, I'm gonna have have myself cure for 30 seconds to lock this down. And here I am fixing my little butterfly wings. I did shave, you know, poor guy off, but there you go. Boom, boom, quick fix. No one's even gonna know. So after that, I decided to go in with some bling, just a little bit of sparkle to make this set, you know, just a little bit fancier. And I knew that I was gonna go matte with these nails. So instead of doing the Zule Bling adhesive, I'm going in with the Bling Gel method in terms of adding bling. I'm going in with this nail Bling Gel. So it's a thick, really viscous Bling Gel that cures with an LED light. I am then going to add my top coat right on top of that Bling Gel. So I didn't cure, it's still completely wet. And the trick to this is making sure that you use a good amount of that top coat. You want to kind of float it over that Bling Gel so that there's 2 layers of gel for your bling to sit in. And I placed the Bling Gel in strategic places where I knew I was going to apply the bling. I'm using Matte It by Not Polish, and I'm using a good amount because I want it to not interfere or kind of remove the gel, just making sure that I'm adding a good amount so that we get a really, really nice thick application. I'm cleaning my sidewalls just to make sure that we don't warp the shape, and then it's time to add my bling. So I'm going in and adding these really dainty rectangle pieces that I got from AliExpress. I love, love, love them. I just threw them in this box because it's just easier to work with the bling and all in one place. But we're going to be adding like super, super minimal bling, and I'm going to try and go like in straight lines, nothing crazy. You can kind of see the effect that I'm going for. Again, I'm out of frame. Super, super sorry for that. Like, it's really, really hard to stay in frame when you're doing your own nails. I'm like holding my hand really close to my face for some reason. I don't know. It's like really weird. But yeah, just placing it in that gel. One thing to keep in mind though is that the gel will move. Just because it's thick, it's due to gravity, it's multiple layers of gel. So when you are working with rhinestones, I would suggest doing 1 finger at a time. I did add bling gel to both fingers, but I only added top coat to one. You don't want that top coat and bling gel to kind of be moving around. Also, move quickly when you're placing your rhinestones. You do have time. That's a beautiful thing about this method, to change your mind. If you did all this bling work and you were like, I'm not really feeling it, you could absolutely just take an alcohol wipe and wipe it off and it wouldn't damage the nail. Versus if you did like the adhesive method, then it's on there, you gotta like scrape it off the nail, you might damage it. But one of the major cons of doing this method is that gravity is a thing, and you will place a rhinestone and go work in a different area and come back and that rhinestone has traveled across the country. Okay, so it's just really important to keep your hand, as you see I have my hand facing down, just keep your hand in a steady position and move as quickly as you can. Always look to readjust before curing because these stones will migrate. Okay, once done, I'm going to cure for a full 60 seconds and we're going to have these beautiful matte nails with rhinestones just floating in that matte, and I don't have to worry about getting matte top coat on the rhinestones, which is something that I do worry about using the other method. So that's one benefit of doing the bling. You see I'm moving my rhinestones back because they definitely moved. One advantage of using the bling gel method versus adhesive is that you don't have to worry about getting top coat on your rhinestones because you're placing the rhinestones in the top coat. Again, I'm going to cure for 60 seconds and then these nails are done. So I didn't put all of it in the video because my hands were all over the place, sorry, but I basically did the same thing on every single nail, just super, super minimum. So on the thumb and the pinky, I just added a few pieces of those dainty rhinestones to the outside edges of the nail, and on this solid pink nail, we are just going to be doing some cute little half nail cuticle bling work or whatever. I had to place my hand down because I was catching a cramp. Look at how the nails are reflecting green. It just eats me up because I really didn't want it to be green. Just so annoying. But yeah, just taking my time, constantly readjusting. So that's what I was talking about. The rhinestones will shift being in that thick gel, but it is amazing and the rhinestones do not move. Once done, I'm going to cure. The top coat is already there, so I don't even need to top coat the nails. Once you cure after placing those rhinestones, these nails are basically done. Do not forget to wipe your sidewalls. You don't want to warp that beautiful shape that we worked so hard to get in the filing process, and then you can enjoy your nails. Boom, check out this beautiful shot of these nails. They came out so pretty and soft and dainty, and I low-key love this rhinestone situation that's just kind of like scattered around but very small and dainty. Thank you so much for watching. Totally ignore that green cast. It was supposed to be like a soft pink holographic situation. Maybe I'll do it over, but I love, love, love this rhinestone work, and the butterflies were a great touch. Thank you for watching. Like if you like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.